Yeah, man,
As the clock strikes 7, the fights
And
alive.
please share, Titus. I
Bitter
put him on mute because you are
symphony,
saying
the
something, but you can turn the please
voices
share, please.
cry. Turn
Please
off
share.
the
Everyone, please
screens,
share.
let the magic
Please share the
unfold.
show.
Listening and healing as stories are told. Come one, come all, this is your time. No topics too
So
tough,
Yinka, if you can
just
please share on
healing
your
out
Facebook
from
page.
mental health
I do
woes.
that. Hold on.
Justice we seek,
Are you following us on
together
Facebook?
we rise for the
I don't think
strong
so.
and
Or
the
are you
weak.
subscribed to our YouTube page?
A safe
No,
space for
sir.
all, let's lift every
Just
voice.
go on, look for Inner Circle. I thought you were already following.
I think so too. So do I go back? You want me to go back to Facebook and do that?
Where hearts unite,
You can just
Yeah,
go
if you
off
can,
the
please.
topic.
If you
sharing our truths,
Or
bringing
you can do it
hope
on
to
your other
the light.
device.
Community
Yeah.
strong, we're never
Hold on, let
alone.
me see that.
Together as
Can you go on my
one, we've
Facebook and follow Inner
created
Circle
a
and share
home.
for me?
With laughter and love, we break down the
You
walls.
guys see
No
my
topics too
wow,
tough,
I want
just
to try
heed
it.
the call.
I
From
did get
mental
comments.
health
You did
woes
it.
to justice we seek. Together we rise for the strong and the meek. A safe space for all. Let's lift every voice. So join the conversation. Let's set the tone. In a circle podcast where love is well known.
What's the weather out there?
Oh,
What a degree.
1 digit.
No, it's not. It's 22 degrees. Don't do Minnesota.
Oh,
In a circle
22?
podcast where hearts
Yeah.
unite.
Yeah.
Sharing our
it's up. It's
truths,
like 33
bringing
years.
hope to the light.
It was just snowing a lot today, this
Community
morning.
strong,
That's
we're
crazy,
never
man.
We had a
alone.
snowstorm.
Together as
Like
one, we've
already snowing.
created a home. So join
Yeah.
the conversation, let's set the tone. In a circle podcast,
Yeah, it says
where
share.
love is well known.
I got it. I think I shared it already.
Okay.
Maybe you did it. Babe, did you share it?
So join the conversation, let's set the tone.
Okay, welcome everyone. Welcome to our guests, wherever you're watching us from. Thanks for joining us. If you are in Minnesota, it's been a busy day since like 1 a.m. this morning. It's been snowing like crazy. Flights are getting delayed or in some instances canceled. And that's why we are late because the panelists trying to get home from work and everything. And also, it's Minnesota, right? We had a huge snowstorm today, so we apologize for being late. But thanks for joining us, wherever you're watching us from. Our topic tonight is biracial relationships slash marriages, and we have a special panelist who's going to be helping us with this topic to kind of dissect it, especially from a cultural immigrant perspectives. So we're going to be trying to dive into that topic tonight. Again, the topic is biracial relationships slash marriages. For all those that are in the Christmas spirit, Merry Christmas. Hope you enjoy the holidays. Whatever you celebrate, if you celebrate Kwanzaa or whatever it is, right? Is that we hope you are enjoying the holiday, the festivities. Um, we are not taking an official break. We'll be here next week, on Wednesday, Christmas Day, and then New Year's Day will be off, but we'll be at you here, sharing some important information. So with that, I'm your host tonight, Abe Kamara. Again, our topic is biracial relationships slash marriages. And so we'll go around the room to introduce our panel. Mr. Yinkan, I will start with you.
Yeah. Hello, guys. My name is Thomas Thomas Yinka, and I'm glad to be on here today.
Okay, thank you. Patience with your special guest on your shoulder. That's what we call work-life balance.
Yep. This is Irene. My name is Patience. I'm excited to dive into the topic.
Okay, Titus.
It's an honor to be here. I'm Titus. Thomas is my brother. That's my blood right there. He's in. Someone tell the people where you joining us from, man. And I appreciate you, bro. Thanks for joining
Man,
us tonight.
man, coming all the way from the sweetest place on earth, Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Ah,
Okay.
Sweetest place on earth.
okay, oh,
Okay.
sweetest.
So, I mean, I will take exception to that, Mr. Yinka. I will take exception to that,
Yeah, me
Thomas,
too.
because the best place on this earth is the land of 10,000 lakes. You
Good
know, I
stuff.
always say that. I say, hey, man, it's the best place on planet Earth, the land of 10,000 lakes. There's never a dull moment. This is the only place where you have the 4 seasons, right? As I said, we just had a huge snowstorm. You know, right now we're gonna have a white Christmas. I bet, right? Are you gonna have a white Christmas or brown Christmas?
We don't need white Christmas. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Okay,
White Christmas.
okay, okay. So
uh,
that's a good one. That's a good
Jesus
one. But
wasn't well. Why would you white Christmas for?
oh, okay, that's a whole another topic for another
That's a
Yeah.
day.
good one.
I don't want to. It's like I'm not going to take that bait. That's another topic for another day. So, whatever, Mr. Yinka, thanks for accepting our invitation and joining us tonight. Can you tell us more about what do you make of this topic? You know, from your vantage point, biracial relationship and marriages. When you hear about it, I mean, what comes to mind for you?
Well, man, I can say, man, I've been blessed. I've been blessed with my wife. We've been
Hmm.
married for 13 years,
Oh wow.
and she was my high school sweetheart.
Huh.
So
Okay.
we went to high school together. Uh, we got married after I graduated college. So she was like a gift from my college.
Hmm.
Like I told her when I graduated, I would marry her. I proposed to her on Christmas Eve.
Oh,
So
okay.
Christmas Eve, uh, and we married 13 years. Man, it's been a beautiful relationship. Of course, it have had its ups and downs, of course,
Okay.
but at the same time, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful marriage. I won't trade it for anything. God has
Okay.
been faithful to us. So anyway,
Yeah.
I think the topic is a very interesting and key thing
Yeah.
as in my relationship. I think obviously there's cultural differences,
Sure. Sure.
right?
Sure. Sure. Okay.
I'm, I'm
Okay.
from I'm from the I don't use that still Liberia on that thing, but anyway, I was still Liberia. I'm from, of course, Liberia, and my wife is like well people call it hillbilly country redneck girl. She from St. Louis, Michigan. Cornfield, corn
Uh-huh.
farm. That's where
Okay.
she grew up at, right?
Okay. Okay. So it's
So
like, how was it like for you meeting a Caucasian, as a black person, and then coming from Africa, right? Africa as an immigrant, what was the misconception like? How was that dynamic like for you?
Well, I was in a place, and to be no honesty, man, I was in a place where I really didn't have any option of uh black girls. I was in a place where a lot of my surrounding was Caucasian, you
Okay.
know. But so that I mean, at one point that's all I had. But again, I definitely believe it was ordained, but for me and my wife to be together.
Hmm.
But again, it was a place where wasn't a lot of African or African American or black girls in
Sure.
my surrounding where I was. But
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. Okay. Titus, have you ever dated a Caucasian or someone of another race? And what can you say about that experience? Or if you had never done it, I mean, what do you think about folks that have done it?
Yeah, I think I've dated. I don't know if I should call it that. Those were in my very young days, when we were wilding out.
Okay.
Fortunately for my brother, Thomas, he got himself a wonderful, Caucasian girl, lady, wonderful person, man.
Okay.
But for some of us, we did around a little bit with the other race, but we came back, but it was always respect, mutual respect that we shared. At a time, everybody was just young and wilding out and having fun, so it was really nothing too much to it.
Okay. How is the relationship with your sister-in-law? And then let's assume that if you guys get together for the holidays or Christmas, how is that dynamic like between
We're
the Yinka
tight.
family?
We're tight. That's one of my coolest people. When I'm around Hillary, her name is Hillary, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We don't move right around one another. We eating together. People be doing that stuff on the other side. We on the other side either watching movie or something. Like we're so tight. We
Mm-hmm.
have a great relationship. I'm telling you, she's a wonderful person. And when you get to know people beyond, the color of their skin, you
Yeah.
really get to know their hearts and the content that they're carrying. It's been a beautiful. It's been a pleasure knowing her. Honestly.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for that. Patience. What has been this topic is a great to me. It's an intriguing topic. We are immigrants here in this country, this great country. It is America. They call it like the great melting pot where we have different races. Have you had an experience, dating another race, especially the Caucasian race?
Yes, I have. Yep.
Okay. How was that like for you?
I mean, it was different. Like culture wise, it's different. They do things different, and especially with us African, there's certain things we would do. And for me, I'll say it didn't work out because there was a lot of culture difference. I had to answer a lot of questions, like why is it you do this way? Why is it you do that way? And it's just culturally is different, but it's also a different experience too, especially getting out of your comfort zone and dating into a different race. The experience is different than what we're used to as African or immigrants.
Uh, Thomas, I
Yes,
mean, you
sir.
hear you hear what patient said. Was that
Hmm.
the same experience for you? Was it a cultural challenge? I know
One
you
of
said
those
your
culture
surrounding
clashes.
were, huh?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely, man. There was a huge culture challenge when we was first together. But I think what made us successful was I'm a firm believer. I'm a man of faith, and I think what's made us successful. What we said, we are not gonna be culturally driven. We're gonna be Christ-like centered. And in my faith, Jesus covered every culture. So what we started with, I was intentional about a lot of things in my wedding. In my marriage was my with my wife. For
Mm-hmm.
example, one of our culture, we always, we African, we take care of our family back home or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah.
We gotta
Okay,
get whatever we're giving money to our family back home or to
sure.
our oma or papa.
Yeah,
So what I did with my wife in that situation, every time if I was asked for money,
yeah.
I will I will uh allow my wife to be
Okay,
that front person to be able to
okay,
give that money. I
okay.
always play like the bad guy, like that when I cheat,
Okay,
I'm not giving you money, and then
okay,
she will come up and say, "Don't worry, I will give it to you."
okay.
See, so that was a technique, right?
Yeah,
To
yeah,
break a lot of barrier. People know, like from your parents' side, from
yeah.
your spouse side,
Sure.
that I eventually little told her, I said, honey, just trust me, we gotta do this. You
Okay,
know. But she
okay,
will also she's a very giving person in general, but
okay,
I had to let her know it wasn't my family know it. It's not coming from me. This is
okay,
coming from my wife. So that's
okay,
another culture again.
okay. Sure.
Yeah, one
Okay.
of the another, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, welcome Miss B, welcome Peterson. As you all know, we have a special panelist. We don't want to say our guest because he's one of us. So we have a special panelist who's sharing his experience, in a biracial marriage, that he's been in for the last 13 years. Immigrant from Liberia, born and raised in Liberia, and moved here, and decided, hey man, to marry his high school sweetheart, which is of Caucasian race, which that's so sweet. So welcome Miss B, welcome Peterson. So before I get back to you, Thomas, Miss B, what do you make of this relationship? I know you were not born here, but you came at a young age. Have you dated someone of another? Have you dated a Caucasian person? And how was that experience like?
I have not. I've not dated outside of my race.
Okay.
I've had opportunities to do so,
Uh-huh.
but I have not. I think it was probably because of the time frame, and it was probably the people. So both guys were all American white boys, right?
Mm-hmm.
The blonde hair, blue eyes, the sports, guy, but they were only 6'1", So I always thought, I just had this mindset or assumption that you have your all American white guy athletes, that picture perfect, and then they're only kids coming from affluent parents. The last thing their affluent parents want is their all American kid to bring home a black girl, a dark skinned black girl at that rate. But they were both great guys, went to college with them, and they made it known how they felt about me. But I just had that assumption in my head, which is a misconception that I
Okay.
had in my head, and so
Okay.
I never went there.
Okay.
But I'm happily
So,
married to my
yeah.
husband of 17 years now.
Where did that misconception come from?
I grew up watching television shows like 90210, and Sweet Valley High, and so I wasn't seeing the all American white boy dating the black girl, right? So when you think about TV and even high school, by the time I got to high school, that's when I saw more of that diversity and that intermingling. Well,
Mhm.
everybody wanted to be a Justin Timberlake now, right? And so I started to see some of that, but I just always grew up with this idea that yes, we interact in the school environment, but white kids did it white kids and black kids did it black kids. And so
Okay.
having that mindset, ingrained in me, not through my parents at all, but just through society and culture and social life, I just never attempted to go there.
Okay. I mean, you went to high school here, just like Thomas, as you alluded to earlier. I mean, is it like was your high school more diverse, maybe compared to Thomas? He said like his environment was, I'm assuming like mostly white. Where you're diverse, so you never took the opportunity to say, hey, and that where some of those misconceptions might have come from.
And maybe it's because mine wasn't though. I lived in places like Fergus Falls, Minnesota, where
Mm,
at one point I was the only black student in the entire school. So
mm,
just think about an elementary population of probably 2,000 kids, and your family is the only black family, not only in the city, but you're the only black kid in the school. So what example am I seeing about that interracial, biracial happening? None whatsoever. And then fast forward, I graduated from Park Center High School. And so by
mhm.
the time I get to high school, yes, I do see more of that diversity, but
Okay.
you're still not seeing a lot of that interracial relationships happening.
Okay. Peterson, thanks again from joining us from Chicago. Uh, what has been have you had an experience with a Caucasian, person, what are dating them, hanging, or having any kind of a relationship with them?
Yes. So sorry that I'm so late. We are having snow weather out here. But anyway, yes. So I outside of my marriage now, my
Mhm.
longest relationship was with Caucasian girl that we met in high school. I was a junior, and we dated up until I went to college, and that's
Okay.
when uh, everything ended. But yeah, my experience was like what Patient said earlier. It was a culture shock because I went to middle school here and then high school, but throughout uh, my high school years, it was like the population it wasn't diverse at all. So
Okay.
out of like 3,600 students in my high school, there were probably like 20 that were
Okay.
black, and
Okay.
out of those 20, my family, my two brothers and my niece were the only Africans. So everybody else were either African American or they were mixed. So,
Okay.
like what Ms. B just alluded to say, okay, uh, we didn't see many of that example of interracial like relationships
Yeah.
because the African American population they tend to like date among themselves.
Okay.
And when I started dating this girl, I caught a lot of grief. People are like, wait, you think you're better than us? Why is it you leaving us to go to the
Okay.
white girl? And
Okay.
my thought was, okay, I came from Africa 3 years before prior to that, and I was not used to seeing what I saw in my high school. So, uh, mind you, the population, like I said, was very, very little. So,
Okay.
out of those, maybe 20 let's assume, because usually the population of females is more to
Okay.
males. So
Okay.
if 12 of them or 13 were females, those seven guys, they would just like switch, date somebody this Monica this week, and then the next week John
Okay.
dates her. So
Okay.
I thought, I'm like, no, I cannot do that. So, and
Okay.
that was one of my big reasons for going. And I mean, the population in terms of
Okay.
Caucasian, it was just more prevalent. So
Okay. Okay. Thomas, how
Yes,
do
sir.
you navigate the conversation around race and identity in your marriage? How do you navigate that? Is that when that conversation come up, how do you navigate it?
Man, it was a it was a struggle in our early marriage. So I remember when Trayvon Martin
Mm.
uh got shot by
Yeah.
a guy in
Yeah.
Florida.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting there feeling the grief, feeling the pain. And I'm
Yeah.
looking at my wife and I looked at her. It was our early marriage. And I looked at her and I said,
Mhm.
they don't like us. And my wife was like, what you mean they don't like y'all? And I was like, they don't like us, man. And she was like, I'm gay. I'm gay. I'm white. And I love you and I'm married to you. What do you mean I don't like they don't like us? And she never could understand, right? She never
Mhm.
could understand
Mhm.
the depth behind what I was saying, right?
Uh-huh.
Until I believe her auntie, which was a
Yeah.
Caucasian lady,
Yeah.
but a little bit more um, knowledgeable and open minded,
Mhm.
and was not as ignorant as my wife. And ignorant is not an insult; it just
Yeah.
means lack of knowledge, right?
Yeah.
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 So, uh, and I believe her auntie started to lead her to that place where my wife needed to do a lot of listening
Mhm.
instead of just talking over me.
Okay.
And I believe when my wife started to really listen to those pains that I was
Mhm.
dealing with race in America,
Yeah.
she started to understand and she started to see the bigger picture. And
Okay.
she started hearing my story,
Okay.
my real story that I dealing with in America as an
Okay.
African, as a black man. And then she was able to have empathy and
Okay.
sympathy on me.
Okay.
And I think that was key because she stopped talking. Because
Okay.
what the main key right, this is right here, and this goes with any other, especially any other person that's married to a Caucasian wife and having issue raised. This is the key right here. She started taking offense. Offense.
Okay.
So when I said they don't like me, it was no longer offense to her anymore because she
Okay.
understood the depth of that.
Okay, that's good. Well, folks, if you just joining us tonight, we are discussing
That's
marriage,
deep.
relationships slash marriages and things like that. So there's a conversation tonight. We have a special guest, a special panelist, Thomas Yinkan. To our panelists, do any of you have any question for Mr. Yinkan? Patient, Titus, do you have any? I know, I mean, the four of you said, I know for sure, like, okay, Miss B haven't dated, never dated a Caucasian. Peterson, you said you have some experience in that, so you're a little bit of a veteran. Titus said just in and out. Single patient, those folks never cross a 6 months threshold, so they never last
Threshold.
there. But she but she got
not the
some
six
experience in
months.
there. So,
So
do
they
you guys
don't
have
count.
any question for Peter? For Mr. Yinka, who has been lacking for 13 years? Any question? Any
Yeah.
comment?
Yeah. I'll go quickly.
Yeah.
So Thomas, if you don't mind sharing, in the early stages, what was it like as far as barriers from the parents, all parents, and how they were kind of seeing us, our side, the parental side of our family as well. Did you
Yeah,
did you
man.
get kind of
Man,
yeah,
yeah, actually, man, yes, yes. Man, even I know this is public, but even some brothers' relationships still not even as great today. But
yeah,
I remember early, man, and I love him. We now a great friend, my father-in-law. I mean, again, a lot of it was again ignorance, right? Ignorance, because I don't think my father-in-law is ever would ever be racist, but it was just ignorance. I remember he made a joke. It was a foolish joke, even before Hillary and I was dating. He was like, the one with the big butt is the worst one, is the bad one. Yeah, I mean, those kind of stuff was sad, and I'm like, damn, like, but yeah, I was determined. I was determined to show them who I was, right? Because that's all part of growing. I was determined to show them who I was and who I was as a man, and
Mm-hmm.
most important, who I was as a man in my faith.
Okay.
And I stand the task. And I remember even when Hillary moved to Indianapolis when I was going to college, I mean, there was no hope. Our family was
Sure.
like, "Oh, she's gonna be back in a minute. She's gonna be back." But
Okay.
we weathered the storm, man. And but all those things was in place. Like I said, I was in a hillbilly redneck town, man. That's where I grew up, when the high school at.
Sure.
So
Okay.
racism was very much there. But again, as we grow, as I show people who I was, and I think things change. I
Okay.
know things change because me and my father-in-law, I'm actually going to Florida with him. Yeah, Saturday we're gonna be in Florida for 10 days
Okay.
together, me, him, and Hillary. So we have a great relationship, great relationship.
Okay.
But before
Okay.
then, it was
Beautiful.
definitely rough. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. To the ladies on this spot now, right? When you see a black dude married to a Caucasian, what is your reaction? Miss B, go first.
Y'all tell one yeah.
To be honest,
Yes, honestly.
I've never really personally took offense to it. However, there are people, girlfriends and people over the years that have taken offense to it. I have family members on the women's side who have deep uh grievances against the idea of black men dating white women. They have sons and they'll be like, if I ever catch you bringing home, you know, a white girl, it's a wrap. We're done. How can you have a strong black woman like me raise you for you to then go find um a white woman? So that's some of that. And then you have colorism has been a serious thing here in um the black community. Like light skinned girls versus dark skinned girls, right? And then you already have those dynamics happening within the black community. And then to find your black men not even preferring one of those options, you
Mm-hmm.
just feel like the options are getting less and less for you as a black woman. Now
Mm-hmm.
you got the Latino girls, the more exotic. You got the Asian girls. Now you got the white. It was first it was the white girls. Now you got the white girls. You got the Asian girl. You got the Latino girls. And then as black women, you just feel like the options of finding good black men is decreasing and decreasing, right? And so those are some of the things I were hearing and seeing as I was growing up in high school, right?
Okay.
That was making it harder for black women to
Okay.
find relations, especially when you fall on the black athlete.
Mm-hmm.
And oh my god, and if he was mixed, he was definitely not checking for a sister. If he was a black mixed dude, he was definitely not checking for a sister. And it was
Okay.
so all of those dynamics were happening. I wasn't looking for a boyfriend in high school. I was too busy, and sometimes I would be irritated by the conversation that females would be bringing to me. But I can see where their frustration was, right? Especially
Okay.
when you have all those dynamics were happening at that time.
Okay. Patient. Why when you see black man, especially maybe from Africa, right, married to a Caucasian, what is your reaction?
For me personally, I don't react anyway. I believe people
Mm-hmm.
find love when they find love. It doesn't matter the color or the culture.
Mm-hmm.
Love is love. Once you're happy, you find peace with that person. That's all that matters.
Okay. And then like so on the flip side, to the guys on here, right? To my black men on here. When you see a lady married to, a Caucasian dude, what is your reaction? Titus.
Well, when the sisters cross over, the first thing
Yeah, yeah. When a
we think
sister
about,
comes over,
so
right? And like,
we're not good enough.
what is the reaction to that?
So we're not good enough. You over there crossing over.
They be
That's
hitting hard and they forget
nat-
they let the weight. They be hitting real hard.
naturally. Yeah, we be hating, man. We be hating low key, naturally. Especially, let me tell you, the Caucasian guys usually they come for the baddies when it comes to the black girls. They come for the baddies, bro. So that stuff hits hard. Like Really? You know, you're gonna cross over, so we're not good enough to keep you over here. You know, I mean, that's just naturally, that's just the first thought.
Okay. Peterson.
Yeah, I don't usually have any like negative reaction, or I don't think twice of it because, like I said, since I dated somebody Caucasian before, and it was me getting those comments and those looks, so I, I don't do that. Yeah, I don't usually react to it.
Okay.
I think I
Thomas.
can relate,
Okay,
Abraham,
good.
because I'm
Uh-huh.
married to an African American, and
Mm-hmm.
so oftentimes the Liberian man said, "We'll take you for that man. We'll take you for that man." Yeah, so it's like I can sort of relate on that level. It's like it's one thing to date a white guy, but even if you're dating outside the Liberian community, it's still an issue.
Okay. Thomas, how do you make sure? I know you mentioned you guys have kids. How do you make sure your kids stay connected to both families, right? To your black family and to the white family.
Oh man, that man started eating chicken feet when he was 4 months old.
Mhm.
Yeah, 4 months. That's how eating chicken feet. A Caucasian grandma, one time, remember, she came and she saw him eating a chicken feet. She freaked out, man. She's like, "Hillary, you eat?" I said, "No, no, no. Let the man eat his chicken feet. It's fine."
Yeah.
And yeah, so he's very grounded, man. My son' favorite food in the whole world is fufu and soup.
Oh,
Fufu and
Yeah.
soup. Yeah, every time
Yep.
he'll tell his mom to make fufu and soup. Mom was making fufu and soup. That was another thing too, man. I told my wife at one point, this was like our fourth or 5 year in our marriage, man. And I keep eating mac and cheese and potato. I said, shit, man. Yeah. So I had to tell her that. I said, honey, you want to keep this marriage, right? You gotta start cooking some African food, some Liberian food. Yeah.
okay. So I have a follow-up question for you. Like, did she learn how to cook Liberian food on YouTube, or you brought a special you brought a special you brought someone special to teach her? How did she
Listen,
learn
man.
it?
I told you I've been very strategic in this marriage. I brought my old man her set. I told my woman to can't spend. I told my woman to can't spend 3 months with us. We're in
Yeah,
Indiana. I
yeah,
said, Hillary, don't leave that kitchen. Okay, my mom said leave that kitchen. And
yeah.
then that's how she learned my sister. And then she would be ready every day. I says, honey, you can't write it thing down. All the taste in the ass, she'll be ready. But that's how she learned, man. I just ate top soy. My wife made me top soy.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
She's a veteran.
I did top soy, yeah,
She's
man.
a veteran. She
So
does.
she
Yeah.
can cook any Liberian food, any
Okay.
Liberian dishes
She
as we
better than
speak.
me. I'm not touching that.
That was
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
So
no, that's
yeah,
great. That's
yeah.
great. That's great. That's great. So guys, again, right? I said there's a I wanted to keep that a conversation tonight, not just me throwing questions either at Thomas and stuff like that. I want a conversation. Patient, do you have any question for Thomas? Is there anything you want to know? I know you say you're not you did a Caucasian, but it never went further. Is there anything you want to know?
Well, no, I mean, I'm not interested in going back on that route again or whatever.
Don't try.
You're
You
not
find someone
interested in
wet,
going
man.
back. Why not? Why
I have
not?
a
You always like
question.
on the show.
Because
Wait. On the show, you always say black men are this, black men are that. Is that don't you think when you go the other way, you might not experience the cheating and all the other stuff?
no, I've already found my person. That's why. They'll
Oh,
just
okay,
leave it as they'll just leave it as that.
okay.
Mhm.
Peterson. Um, I know. What do you think? Like, I know. Do you think the perception, or the acceptance of biracial marriage is more common nowadays, maybe compared to before?
I'll say yes because now we are more aware.
Uh-huh.
Because back then, when I was dating my girlfriend at the time, my intention wasn't like, oh, I'll just date, and then my I went I went full in. I'm like, okay, maybe this might turn into marriage, but there was that perception that every young black man is like a thug, you are a drug dealer, or you're this and that. So her parents, they were kind of hesitant in accepting even me. So, but
Mhm.
I just kept bringing myself. Like, I've never smoked in my life. I don't drink. I don't do this. I don't do none of that. So, eventually, they warmed up to me to say, "Oh, okay, well, he's maybe an outlier," because they still had that in their mind, like, okay, maybe he's just 1% of the people, but
Mhm.
everybody else they have to be like bad. So now is more, I guess, acceptable because we live in a world of information and people see a lot of things. So now some people they don't like pay any mind to it, but before the when you catch racial like couple walking by, everybody would turn and be like, whoa, 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 and but now it's like, oh, okay, well, it's normal.
Okay, Thomas,
Yes, sir.
I mean, it's like, how have you like navigated the whole like stereotype stuff? I know, I mean, when I came here in this country, right, attended high school, some of the questions I used to get, I attended mostly, like a white dominant school. But some of the questions I used to get, oh, I mean, like, have you seen elephant? Have you seen like, so it's like, how do like stereotypes, right, especially for like an African immigrant, right, like dating a Caucasian? How have you navigated those stereotypes? And also from the other way around, right? Sometimes you hear some things about white people or Caucasians, so they are this, they are that. How have you guys navigated those stereotypes?
Man, that's a tough one. Man, I would say just educating people, man.
Mm-hmm.
Just educating people when people say things that out of just
Have you actually encountered it, or like someone asks you, maybe that one of your what are your in-laws, or maybe your wife friend or something, say, hey, have you seen elephant, or has it, or I mean, like, all of these poor case or whatever, maybe that you see on TV, right? That whole stereotype
right.
of Africa. Have you encountered those?
Yeah, always, always. Yeah,
Okay.
and you just have to educate people. That's the biggest thing I'm learning. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I my life, man, since I was like 17, 16 years old.
Mm-hmm.
My life has taken me to be almost majority of my time. I'm always around a lot more Caucasian than my color
Okay.
people.
Okay.
So, and even sometimes it help. We as black, we kind of code switch,
Yeah.
code switching, right? Like for example, my name is Yinka, right? But I have always told people my name Niken, Niken.
Um.
You
Okay.
see,
Yeah.
right? So, because it's easier, but I
Mm.
only do that because of our because we have to turn into them rather than them learning us. And I had
Why
to
is
learn
that?
that. Yeah,
Why is
we
Mm.
that?
have to. Yeah, we have to sacrifice who we are for them to learn instead of us. Instead of them learning us. So I did that for the longest time. I used to call myself Nike, Nike, and then I realized, man, why am I doing that? I'm losing who I am. I mean, my father rolling his grave right now when people are calling me Nike, right? So just educating people, man. Like I would sit there, the lady would say my name 5 times. I would say you would say it before I answer you to the food. Go ahead, stuff like that. Yeah. I like you just gotta gracefully too, man. And sometimes I know they want you just want to look at them and be like you idiot, but I have learned gracefully because that's when they learn, right? They gotta listen, right, and start taking offense. So learn to
Okay.
educate them and just keep doing it, man. I think it will make our world a better place because they
Okay.
don't know. Believe it or
Okay.
not, man, they just don't know. They don't understand. They never
Okay.
left that bubble,
Okay.
right? They never
Yeah.
left it, so
Okay.
they don't understand. They're not. You know, they have bigotry. They don't even know about it,
Okay.
right?
Right.
So you
Yeah.
just got to
Uh,
educate.
okay.
Yes.
So my panelists here, there's a question for each of you. I want you guys to please, because I know other of you guys have family, you have kids. First of all, so I will start with Titus.
It-
Will you
but
allow?
if
Will
can
Yeah,
I
yeah. Okay.
can I
Go ahead. Go ahead.
can I ask Thomas?
Yeah.
I just want him to, if there's any, to talk about the other side of that coin, right? Any
Yeah. Okay.
prejudice or discrimination fashion towards your partner, your wife. and you were there, and how did you deal with it? You care to share anything?
Man, I think so. I think when we and the reality is, man, I'm gonna go there. But
Yeah,
the
go there,
reality
go there,
is
go there.
is it's a white world,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So for like for example, like fishing, a black guy would say, I mean, doing our white people team man fishing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
We
and
don't
my
go
black are
underwater.
looking at them like, but the reality is is a word and the economic system that created that, you know, middle class people is the one that fishing, right? Because you don't find that in our community, right?
Yeah, yeah,
But who says only Caucasian people should be fishing?
yeah,
Well, just because it's a white world,
yeah,
because
yeah.
it's a dominance of, you know, economically differences,
Okay,
right?
yeah,
So again, I think it's a lot again coming down to educating on both sides, because
yeah,
I work with young people, right? And
yeah.
and young people from the inner cities. And I got it when I'm telling them about jobs, I'm like, yo, man, you can be a police officer.
Yeah,
Man, them kids is like, what you talking about? Heck no, I ain't be no popo. Like, who told you you can't be a police officer?
yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just because of the world that's created this system that says this thing's for only athletes and sports for black people, right? And this is for white people, right? So
Okay,
a
okay.
lot of
Yeah,
education. Yes, sir.
yeah. So, yeah. So to my panelists now, I mean, thanks for that information, Thomas.
Thank
So
you.
Tada, I'll start with you. Will you allow your kids, your boy or your daughter or your son to marry a Caucasian?
Allow,
So
I think.
okay, go ahead.
Go,
Will
Thomas,
you
go.
accept? Will you accept? Will you accept it? Will you be
No,
open
you
to it?
go ahead. You go ahead, Puzzy. You go ahead, Puzzy. You got it.
Status.
No, for sure. I don't think we should be interfering like that when it comes to what the person wants, especially what they find.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Hey,
Mm-hmm.
TJ, what they
Mm-hmm.
find. Um, if the young man of men that I raised,
Mm-hmm.
if they grow up and become adults
Mm-hmm.
and find love and care and respect in a person that's of the other race, I'm definitely like I said. Look, I have a personal relationship with my in-law, my sister-in-law, and she's a really good person.
Aren't you
Thomas,
afraid that you might lose? Aren't you afraid that you might lose your son or your daughter? I mean, they might not embrace your culture when they go the other way. Isn't like a fear or something or some sort of a resistance?
but look at that man over there. That man is somebody that loses culture.
Mm.
Thomas,
Okay.
they've been married for over 11 years. That man will always be
Yeah,
a
yeah.
Liberian,
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
African man all over the time. He stays grounded,
Okay.
and he said since 17 years he's been around Caucasian folks, but he's never gonna lose his culture because of what was inculcated into him when we were younger. So
Yeah.
it's how you really train up the child. It's how you train up the children. No matter where to go, they're still gonna have that grounding.
Okay. Patience. Will you be open to the idea of your daughters, going the other way?
I mean, once you find love and you're respected and treated right, you can date who you want to date, marry who you want to marry.
Won't
I,
you be
I don't have
won't-
nothing to say in that.
even though you don't kind of like brand community, so that might be something good for you, but that might that might not be
Got
anything for
her.
you. But aren't you like, wouldn't you be concerned that it might lose that like brand identity and that culture?
I don't think it's gonna be a concern because what you're implementing the kids when they're young, it goes with them for the rest of their life. Like home is home. You're always gonna find your way home, regardless of who you marry, where you go. At least that's what I believe, and that's how I'm raising my kids too. Like no matter where you are, come home. Home is home, and once I bring you up that way, I pray and hope that it goes within them, regardless of who they end up with. But I will not interfere in my kids dating or marriage because my parents don't do it to me. And I wouldn't even tolerate it. So I'm not gonna be one of those people who's like, yeah, no.
Okay. Peterson, same thing to you. Will you be open to the idea of your sons or daughter going the other way?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind, and like everybody's saying, if that's what God has in store for them, go right ahead. I wouldn't have a problem with it. And but I think some people, since we're all Liberians, some Liberians, when I remember back in the day when we came here, there were some families that they would purposely take their kids out of like the community because they say, oh, they want to raise them with like white people so they can like learn to speak proper and things like that. And then at that point, a lot of them they lose that culture, even though they weren't born here. Where you say, oh, these are American kids. They came when they were like babies, and they would lose that culture to say, oh, okay, they're Liberian. Now, when they come among Liberians, then they will start to speak different and stuff like that because they don't want to associate themselves with people. But I wouldn't have a problem if my kids marry anybody that God put on their heart.
Okay. Miss B, the same thing to you, right? But I'm taking this. I want to push it further. The advocate in you. You know, will you allow, your daughter to, to go the other way? Eh,
I'm not gonna lie, when dealing with a 15-year-old daughter, I don't want her to be dating, but it's just naturally I'm like, I feel like okay, when if she's with a white guy, he won't put that pressure on her because I feel like these black boys are very promiscuous, you
Oh
know,
boy,
and I don't know where do I get these misconceptions from, right? And so,
the
but
life experience.
no, I just conclude because I didn't experience a lot of white boys telling me about how they hit that and they were just hitting that yesterday and hitting this. So I'm feeling like they probably weren't as interested or promiscuous when they were younger. And so it's hearing a lot, it's being around a lot of black boys who
mhm.
were very promiscuous. So I'm like, when she's not around a lot of black boys, I'm like, oh, praise God. But anyways,
Damn.
on another, on
So
another
for
note,
you, you rather because of the maybe because of experience, because of whatever, you rather your daughter go the other way versus staying
yeah,
within a community.
that black man libido is too much. It's too strong for such a young age.
Okay,
Stay
okay.
away from my
That's a
daughter.
great one.
Yes,
That's
stay.
a great one. That's a
Personally,
great one. So now you give me an interesting one to ask Thomas there. Thomas, I mean,
she put a
the
twist on it.
conversation about Liberian men, man, is like they must have at least two or whatever, right? But the area you are, right, is like you married to a Caucasian. That is a no for them, right? When they will want. How have you navigated that, right? It's like, man, you just have you how have you navigated that?
Say that again. Say the question. Repeat the
The
question again.
perception, right? Most like in our community, right? For Liberian man, hey man, you gotta have maybe some kind of a side squeeze or a side chick or
Yes, sir.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, or whatever,
Yeah.
right? It's like you gotta see there. You gotta have your lady. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
You're
that's
lazy.
the
That
Liberian
ain't
man
right
thing.
there. You're
Yeah,
lazy.
so how have you navigated
Hey, my man, you put me on the spot.
Would it be a
Ooh.
website on Reddit?
Nah, man. Nah. Listen, man. And uh,
No lazy for Thomas.
no,
No.
no, no. Listen. And I'm a man. Yeah, yeah. Cause I'm a man. I'm a man. I'm a man. But honestly, man, I told you guys I'm a man of faith, and I'm
that?
not saying this to be in any way show any perfection of who I am, but
Hmm.
I believe in the covenant that I made with my wife and God. Man, every day is a temptation, but I
Hmm.
believe in that covenant that I
Hmm.
have to hold to
Hmm.
be faithful to my wife. And
Hmm.
the main thing that gets me, man, every time is the blessing that comes with it. Man,
Okay.
outside of it, man, outside of your marriage, there's no blessing, man. There's this You lose this inner joy that you can only have through being obedient to the Most High. So that's just me, man. And is it a struggle every day, man? Of course it is. I'm a man,
Yeah.
but I what keep me grounded is the that blessing, man. that
With it,
required from Mozart.
with the
And
exception of your family, with the exception of your family, do you have like Liberian friends or African friends?
oh yeah, I got yeah,
Do
a
they
lot of
ever, do they ever, you know what I mean, put you in a position that it's like, you know, it's like, is it, dude, don't go there, man. You know what I mean? Stuff. I got my, you know, I'm okay where
listen,
I'm
man.
at.
I love my friends, man. We talk, but they know who where I stand. You know what I mean?
Okay.
They know who am I. They know where I stand.
Hmm.
So I tell my guy, man, I know what y'all do, but y'all know where I stand. You know what I mean? Uh, there's this blessing, man. I can't lose it, man. I
Hmm.
can't lose it. You know, and I gotta stay grounded. Every day fight, I gotta stay grounded, man, because I love my wife, and and I'm not just committed to her. I'm committed to the Most High.
Okay.
So I
Miss
have
B,
a
go ahead. You want
question.
to say something? Miss B, go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question. So another thing for me, why you would be hesitant is some of the cultural things. Like for me, I love the movie Friday. And I just
Yes.
always have this thing. If me and my partner couldn't watch that movie together, then that was not the person for me. Like,
Yeah.
how do you not be able to, or maybe you are to, the black jokes, right? The
Mm-hmm.
black music,
Mm-hmm.
like, do you miss out on that, or are you able to share that with her and she get it? Like we could have a whole conversation tonight, and I just be like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and we won't have to speak. It's
Yeah.
like that alone would be able to tell the whole conversation between you and I. Do you get that there or not?
Man, thanks for asking that. I really that's I do, man. I honestly do. My wife can come here and she can probably speak like Brent English more than probably any one of y'all. She can probably speak Kolonkwa more than any one of y'all on this phone. I promise you.
Mhm.
You can say any Kolonkwa, my wife will tell you what you said. It's
Yeah.
funny because
Okay.
I go around like B-Ran. They can kind of be talking to me, speaking our real Kolonkwa. And my
Yeah.
wife can be like, she can answer that. They can say, "Oh, they got me listening to all the whole time, man." I said,
Oh,
"Yes, man." So, she, man, I've been blessed, yo. Seriously, man. She
I
really,
love
as
that.
tired as my brother, like me and my wife will be more friends. They'll be talking when we together. They'll be talking all day, laughing,
Mm.
understanding each other on a whole.
Yep,
I don't gotta change who he is. My wife
Mhm.
don't gotta change who she
that's
is.
the
We
homie right
just
there.
understand. She been to Liberia through two times.
That
She
was my
been
question. That
Snotty.
was my next
she
question.
been
Okay, you
on
go.
these
Yeah.
snonty
Yeah.
Someone got a
and
travel name and all.
yeah, she. So I get what you said.
Mhm.
Definitely, um we just watched what's his name
Jamie
Jimmy
Foxx.
Fox. Jimmy
Yeah.
Fox. She understood everything, So I
Okay.
get you. I get you. Yeah, my man, that get more Liberian than probably I am. Seriously. Yeah.
Love it.
So
Love it.
Dope,
yeah.
dope.
What are some of the, if you don't mind to share, what are some of the unique strengths being in a biracial relationship? What are some of the blessings? I know what are some of the strengths that come with that?
Man, the strength is we gotta
Good
navigate.
credit.
Yeah.
I don't
Uh,
know.
I
uh,
want to make a
He's
session
biracial.
again. Let's see.
You marry
Uh,
that girl for her credit, bro. Just kidding.
nah, my credit was better than that girl credit before we met. Yeah, actually, my credit was better than her credit, but the strength. I mean, the strength that we have really built together is through our little son, man.
Mhm.
Hopefully, my little son can understand that he is white as just as much as he is black. You
Okay.
know, that's the
Mhm.
main thing, man. Just to help him really understand that and be able to navigate that through this life that he has in a great country, America. Right? You
Okay.
gotta
Okay.
understand that and be very proud of both.
do
I
Okay.
you
think,
do you ever are you ever concerned about some of the challenges that he might meet in the future, and
of course,
how do you kind of prepare him for that?
of course, every day, man, is helping him to understand his identity, who he is. Most important in the Most High. If I can help, because a lot of culture things in our society is always leading for black man to not understand his identity. Everything
Mm,
from the music, from the
mm,
culture, everything
yeah.
is understanding. So, but my son, hopefully, he finds his identity in the Most High that said he is love. he is
Has has
cherished.
she has she started school yet? Has your son start? Is your son in
He
school?
started. He's in preschool. He's in preschool right
Okay,
now.
okay,
He's
okay,
in
okay. So I won't
preschool.
go. Yeah, yeah. I won't ask that because to Tyler's point, I want to push on that a
Yeah,
little bit. Has he ever
yeah,
been bullied? And things like that.
yeah.
It's like some kids might
Those
say,
things ain't. Those
yeah,
things ain't come here. Even
okay,
in preschool, he like recently he come back and he tell me this one kid is being mean to him and stuff. I'm in the back like, yo, punch in the face. Mom was like, no, 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 don't do it. Like, but we got to teach him to be kind, man. Kind to
Yeah,
people.
man. Yeah, don't change.
Yeah, kind to people like. But again, man, just helping him understand his identity,
okay.
man. Because when he's grounded, man, he can't be shaken. Can't be
Okay,
shaken.
Peters.
Yeah,
Yeah, Peters. Do you have anything to say? You have any question or what have you before I ask the panelists? Want to make it a conversation. Is there anything you want to learn from Thomas? Before I can ask my next question to the panelists.
No, I mean, uh, he's actually explained a lot, and for those who have not had that experience, is a great learning for all of us tonight to say, oh, okay. I mean, even if I've dated somebody before, it wasn't long term, it didn't end up in marriage like his, and like all the challenges in the beginning that he talked about, those are things that sometimes people don't see, but it's there. So I want to say
Okay.
thank you.
Okay. Well, folks, we are discussing biracial relationships as marriages tonight. You can call our number if you want your voice to be here, 952-594-5154, or you can comment in the chat, and contribute. Contribute to this important topic. Thomas is giving us great education. He's been married to his Caucasian wife for the last 13 years. It's a great marriage. No cheating, Daniel, and stuff like that. So hey, he's and
like
as
bro,
Miss
man,
B
can't
said,
cheat.
the credit is
A very
privileged
million
and
people.
things like that. So hey, but uh with the current world we live in, right? I know that there's still a lot of challenges, right? Like we just went through a very, very contentious election,
Right,
and things like that. To the panelists, do you think society perception about interracial marriage has evolved over time, or is that still a challenge? Especially like with the world we live in right now, is that they're still there. It's like racism, as Thomas said to others, still exists. But do you think society, that when it comes to specifically to interracial marriage, has society perception evolved, Miss B?
man.
Well,
I
yeah, just a little
I
bit, Thomas, just a little bit, just a little
I,
bit.
Oh,
I
sorry.
think society perception has really changed when you think about people like um what's it, a lot of these white celebrities, right? They're now dating black women, and I'm all here for it. Eve is married to a white billionaire, I believe. You have Lucas, the producer for Star Wars, married to a beautiful black woman all these years, right? And so I will say, when our sisters then date, they date up though. You got the Judge Brown lady, she's married to a white guy. Vice President Harris is married to a white man. So, I feel like we're
Go ahead,
seeing
go ahead,
more,
go ahead. Because you
we're
brought
seeing more
dynamic
and
that I
more,
want to push. You brought dynamic I'm going to. You brought
we
something here that
see
I'm going to
more,
push.
I'm seeing more and more of my sisters dating white men, and I like it and I welcome it, because for too long we only saw black men, of course, the football player, the artist, dating only white women. And it was sending that perception like, okay, black men don't want us, white men don't want us, then who's gonna want us? And so then I'm seeing a lot of these more interracial relationships and having black women in them. I'm all for them. My sister, she is 34 years old, man, beautiful body, voluptuous, nurse practitioner. She's been with her white boyfriend, Italian boy, for the last 11 years. They have a beautiful 9-year old, daughter. I love my niece. She's so spicy. And so I'm all here for it, man. Who knows?
Okay.
If this
Okay.
one don't work,
Peterson,
go to the other side.
Peterson, I'll ask the same question, but I'll take it to another level. especially like now that we, our black ladies, right, Miss B alluded to this, the educated ones. You think they are, going the other way because of, is it here, man? Though, as she said, right, those black dudes are not serious. Some of them, they can cheat or they are not educated. I mean, you have most of it's like, you have most of the educated black women, going the other way and going up there. Is that playing into some kind of a perception about black men?
Yeah, I think it is, and it's because of like what she said. Most of the educated black men, they will say, "Oh, okay, I don't want to deal with the drama," because they have this in their mind, like, "Oh, black women are just drama. They they cuss you out, or they want to fight about everything." So they say, "Okay, for peace of mind." And Titus always says this on the show: a man wants where he can find peace. It doesn't matter where it is; he wants peace. So, so
Like,
they have that perception that they always say, "Oh, okay." Our black sisters, they they bring too much drama, so they'll say, okay, let's go to the other side. Now the women, they are seeing that and say, oh, okay, well, if you're not going to come and get us, then we can follow you and go get to the other side as well.
So don't you think though, if we have those dynamics going on, it's like
Mhm.
patient. Don't you think that in our culture, in our society, like especially black folks, we are our own worst enemy, right? Because the successful black women or the successful black men, instead of then, coming, to promote the culture and things like that, they are going the other way.
Well, just to backtrack on the question you asked, the thing is, like, especially with most black educated women, what I'm starting to realize is black men, some black men, most black men are very intimidated by
Hmm.
a strong black woman.
Nah.
And we're getting to the place where we're not gonna shrink ourselves to
Where
make you
did
feel.
you where did you get that from? Is it they're intimidated or you guys intimidate them?
Is it not a scene? We don't intimidate.
Yeah,
Is it not?
You guys intimidate them.
oh
You
man.
Yeah,
intimidate them.
it's, yeah.
When they talk one, he talk 50 because you got a
It's
master's
no,
degree
no,
or you
it's
got a
not. It's not
PhD.
even that. It's just the fact that when he pull up on you, you come with what you come with, and
Oh, come
some black men take that as an offense because they want to have something over you. Be a man. Just being a man, you already have something over me. Me being educated, me being independent, me having my feet on the ground doesn't mean I'm gonna treat you any less. I'm not gonna respect you as my spouse. But like I said, some black men are very intimidated by that, and we are getting to the place where we're
So
not shrinking ourselves for that anymore. We're not settling for that anymore. We go for whoever that makes us feel wanted and respected with what we come with. And if I meet a white boy who makes me feel the way, a white man who makes me feel the way I desire to be felt, I that's where I'm gonna go. If my black brothers is not doing it, I didn't sign no contract. So I'm gonna marry a black man. Me personally, I want to marry a black because I know black men don't get enough love in this world, and I have so much love to give. I would love to pour into a black man. But if I'm not finding that, I find a white man, why not?
okay, Titus, is it like the whole
Interesting.
perception about, like black men feel intimidated by educated black women? I don't really believe that, you know what I mean? Is that like what patient is saying? I think is the other way around, is like these educated black women be bullying or intimidating these black men. When the black men talk one, they talk 50. So they rather go to the Caucasian because they feel that hey, he's not going to say much anyway because it's like maybe this, as you said, they don't like drama.
But I'll just throw a little joke in there. If the Caucasian might not say much, but he'll be plenty of funeral. Take you to go fishing, put that life insurance on you, and the next thing the man kicking
man.
out.
Talking you.
So you
Tell
quick
him,
on the
Tony.
water.
Yeah.
But
So
no, I think I
isn't
think
that
it
some of the
happened.
reasons?
Where Miss B,
Go
is that where
ahead.
you're coming? Where
Let's
Miss
be
B?
with but I think that happens both ways. I think both genders intimidate one another, right? And the self confidence. the struggle with self-esteem and confidence. I think it's not just a black man thing or a black woman thing. It's in every race.
Mm,
But our queens, our black women will talk about it mostly because that's what they see. They're
mm,
around black men most of the time. This is what they experience. This is what they see. So this is what they're gonna obviously talk about. If you probably go in the other community, you might hear the same thing like, "Oh yeah, they're going on that side because they feel like they can get better. He can't stand me because I'm a strong, this that." So that's just what that is.
yeah. Thomas, you have any reaction to what you have heard from the panel before I ask you my next question? You know what I mean? About the
Yeah,
whole dynamic about education, right? Black women with their education and things like that.
man. Man, listen. There is a I'm breaking it. There's a specific role that God given has given a woman and a man, and I really do believe that if that woman play her role and that man play his role, things work out. There's a beauty again. There's a beauty. I I can't help it. So you just hear me out. But there's a beauty in the scriptures when the scripture said, "Husband, love your wife as Christ loved the church." All right. Well, that means husband sacrifice, agape love your wife. And then the scripture said, "Wife, honor your husband." You see, women always want love. Men always want respect.
And let me just
Always.
Yeah, and let me just hold you there. I know you're quoting scripture, yeah, but these days, these getting with a master's degree and PhD,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
honoring thing,
yeah, yeah.
that honoring
I'm hearing.
that honoring thing,
You right.
that
They can
honoring
get
thing,
that master degree.
they can say,
So
wait,
is the
wait, wait,
man.
wait. They can say that, oh, day we're not living in the Bible,
They
yeah.
get the no time, oh, the no
That is
time.
not
And
true.
then
Y'all
listen,
don't do
they
us.
can do that. They can
Mm,
do that, and that's
mm.
where they missed. And that's where they're gonna always have hard time finding a man. That's where they're gonna always have hard time. They missed that
So
role that they're supposed
let
to
me
play.
just push this further. Then let me just push this further. Then is it easier on the Caucasian side for the female, whether it's an educated female? I mean, is it because I mean to accept that versus like
The respect and honor the
on
man.
our side to say yes, so long she's educated, man, she's not gonna come home and cook dinner because she feel like
That is
yo,
not
equal.
true. Every where you getting this, don't do that to us. Come on
Well,
now.
he's asking you. He's asking the question.
Man,
Thomas,
let him land. Don't worry, we
get your
coming.
cook Thomas say
We
and
coming
Miss
pull
B
up.
can be
We
and Miss
coming pull
B
up.
can be cook pepper soup. So it's like because
Let
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, so it's just more prevalent on the other side versus our side.
I know, sir. I think again, I am successful in my marriage today because my wife understands her role and I understand mine.
Okay.
And we don't. It's not I went up or she went up or went down. We understood our role and we
Mm-hmm.
came to assignment. And
Okay.
every day we, me and my wife, have to put ourselves aside and
Mm-hmm.
choose each other.
Okay.
Every day
Mm,
is a decision. We
Mm-hmm.
have to
I love
make
that.
every day to put ourselves aside. It's
And
putting
choose each other.
our selfishness aside.
Mm-hmm.
So today, if my wife is being selfish and being me and nasty, guess what I got to do? I got to put my own self in the side and love her,
Yeah. Okay.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
every day. And if I do that, and if she does that, man, it work out, man. It work out. And I'm almost say I'm gonna make some men married right now, real quick.
deep stuff. Deep
I'm gonna
stuff.
make some men mad real quick, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
say,
Go
yo,
there.
you're gonna probably get mad at me.
Take it there, bro.
99%, I'm gonna get mad. 99% of divorce because of the men. I finish with you.
Facts.
Mm.
You
99%.
yelling?
Thank you.
You
Yeah.
yelling, Titus? You yelling?
99%
Thank
of
you.
divorce.
They said in unison, we yeah.
Take it there. Take it there.
Someone has
Okay.
to of Brown because he married to a white woman, then he get fees at 99.9%.
You see? You see?
Yes, 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 yes. I did seriously. What's the reaction to that? That statistics. 99.9% of the votes is because of the men.
I wouldn't say 99.9%, but majority is due to the men's fault because, like
Why?
Thomas said,
Why?
it,
Why is it due to the men's fault?
Let it finish, let it
because
finish.
we are not playing the role that God designed us to play. A lot of us we want to control the woman instead of like loving her and like the Bible said. And since we are all Christians, like it
Now,
said, love your wife like Christ loved the church. So we are not loving the woman. So like what Thomas just said, if your wife or your partner is being nasty or being mean or doing something, for us, naturally, we are humans. We're going into our selfish self and say, oh, okay, since you're doing this to me, I'm going to do it back to you. I'm going to do it worse. Instead of actually loving her
Ego and
in spite
opposite
of what she's
reaction.
doing.
Mhm.
for
Yeah.
Tyler, do you think because of our culture and our especially our African culture, wherein like, hey man, it's like a man has a specific role to play. Does that, kind of create that hesitancy? Say, hey, I beg you, man, you know your role and play your role. Don't come out any kind of thing.
I think we talked about this a little bit to one of the most recent episodes
Mm-hmm.
about the various roles in the home.
Mm-hmm.
But again, and as all of us, I think all of us agreed on the show that evening,
Mm-hmm.
we are growing more and more, especially in a different environment, different culture that that encourages us to not just play our role, but to us to be flexible, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
if an African man feel like, yeah, he has a certain role and the woman has a certain role, I mean, you find now in this part of the world where men are, helping out with those other functions or activities in the home that maybe typically or traditionally is not his role, and the woman is also helping, So it's a team. It's been a teamwork
Mm-hmm.
while while staying true to your God given role as a gender, a male and a female. I think
Okay.
we're collaborating more now and making stuff successful.
Okay, so guys, we can push this all night. Is Thomas is on the East Coast. It's 10 o'clock over there, so we can keep going all night. So we're discussing biracial relationship or marriages tonight, and Thomas has given us some great information tonight. He's been married to his lovely wife for 13 years, a Caucasian. As I said, he's been faithful to his wife. His wife been faithful to him, and that stuff been going very well. As you can tell, his happiness and all those stuff, and things like that. So, and Omo can quote about so too. So hey. The day
Woman
will
go to
probably
the
the day will probably PA, just know, just
Yo,
know going to come to
come
the
on
East.
down. Yo, will see how sweet the sweetest place on earth is.
Yeah. I mean the fact that you can quote about soy and misbehave chemical pepper soup, I mean that is something that is something
Uh,
that is
taking
something
taking
that is
pensive and
that is something, that is something to to celebrate. But anyways,
the
Thomas,
Yes,
and
sir.
again to the rest of the panelists, okay, as we wrap this up, what message do you want to leave with our audience tonight to those who have been listening to us, about, biracial marriages, is that because the next generation that might not even be a thing, you know?
mm-mm.
I have a very short question for Thomas before he
Okay,
closes
okay,
up.
yeah. Go ahead.
Well, I know. So earlier you talked about the Trayvon Martin situation, right, and the pain you felt, and
Mm-hmm.
how it was intense in your home, and the expressions you both had.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, when you started listening, she started understanding your pain and stuff.
Right.
How has it been like with your encounter with the law enforcement in this country, when you were alone versus when you're with her? Have you had different experiences? And do
Man,
you care to share?
yeah, absolutely, man. I grew up in Staten Island. Uh, when I came to America, so I was living there. And every time I go to Staten Island, this is a true story. Every time I go to Staten Island, I get pulled over.
Wow.
Every time because it's just like a typical. Because my license plate say out of state, right? So it's a
Hmm.
typical black. My wife usually drive because especially when it's a night, because I don't see well in the night when I'm driving. I mean, I'm not never on my eye, but I just can't see well. So she drive at night. But every time I've been in Staten Island, I've been poor because it's like a typical, right? There's a black guy in the front seat, a white guy driving. And these guys that always pull me over for that stereotype. Always.
Wow.
Yeah.
What can be her reaction?
Oh, I tell her this is I kid you not. I look at my wife. One time I looked at her, I said, we're about to pass by the police officer. He was in the corner. I said, I promise you we're gonna get pulled over. She was like, "What?" She's like, "No way, you kidding me?" Soon as she passed, the guy put it behind up. I said, "I told you," and she was very disgusted. She was very sad, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just
Yeah.
like, how, why? And I just told her, I said, "Listen, man, we got an out of state plate. You got a big black guy in the front seat and a white girl driving. It looked like you came for some cook, and I'm selling you cook and crack. So the man, I gotta
I
see
Damn,
know,
what's going
right?
on every time, man. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
damn,
So we see that, and I just gotta tell, hey, it's sad, So she understand and she sees it more than even some of her family members, and we will have debates about that with other family members that have no idea because they're in that bubble, right? It takes time, and it's frustrating because they don't get it and they get offended. They get
Mm-hmm.
so offended so quickly because
Mm-hmm.
they think, well, I wasn't a slave owner, and I'm like, be quiet, just listen. Let me share
Mm-hmm.
my story. I'm in front of you right now as a person, as a human being, sharing my story to you. What make you getting so offended?
That's
The
true.
right.
reality is there.
I mean,
You
there's a
can,
really interesting conversation. We could push it
yeah,
on that, but just one more thing before we try to wrap this up, because it's like, do you ever feel that you always have to explain yourself? Because I know, man, white people can ask questions, bro. It's
man,
like,
man, I do, I do, bro, I do. It's not even like I told you. Most of my life, I'm always around
yeah,
Caucasian.
yeah,
I'm always
yeah.
around Caucasian, bro. I just pick up golf recently. Like this summer, I started golfing a lot, my man. And every time I go on the golf course, I don't feel belong.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah, you know
Even
what
though
I mean.
you're,
So anyway,
even,
yeah, man.
yeah,
So
even though
so
you're
it's
married now,
there, man. But you know what?
yeah.
What keep me grounded, man, in all truth, because I would
Mm-hmm.
lose my sanity by then. I would lose my sanity. I have sat in my shower sometimes, crawl up like a baby and cry because again, like I told you, all my life has been since I was 16 years. I've been with Caucasian people that quote unquote thought I loved me because I was this little guy at risk youth, right? That's what they called us, at risk youth, being loved. And at the same point, yeah, as a grown black man, I'm telling you, man, I'm in pain, I'm hurting, and they can see that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They can't see that. So, man, but what keep me grounded, bro? In all honesty, is every day looking at myself in the mirror and saying, God, I know who you say I am. I am
Mm-hmm.
valued today. And
So
that's
Mm-hmm.
what keep me grounded.
your
My
faith
faith,
keep you
man.
grounded in
My
that
faith keep
relationship.
me
Yeah.
grounded,
I
man,
mean,
Faith.
because
around
it's
those
not
folks.
it's not a white man religion either. you know. So anyway,
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
that's
another. That's
another
another
topic.
show. That's another
That's
episode.
all.
yeah.
Like
Yeah,
I said,
fact,
we could keep
fact.
we could keep
So
pushing this
anyway,
all night, but we shouldn't do that, So, guys, I'll give each of you the last word. Then we'll let Thomas close it out. So, patience. I will start with you. What message do you want to leave with our audience tonight regarding this very important topic, biracial relationship marriages? What should folks learn? From it, right? As I said, sooner or later it won't be a thing, but there'll still be challenges because, as Thomas said earlier, there is still a white man's war.
Well, for me, like I said, I'm a strong believer of loving who you love who love you. Where you find peace and happiness,
Hmm.
that's where you should put yourself. So,
Okay. Thank you. Peterson, with someone who passed through, but you never got to the promised man, or you never took yourself there, whatever, or whatever lay, you just say, what, my man, I'm going back to my culture, man. You know what I mean? So, what message do you want to leave our audience tonight?
Yeah, I mean, it's like Patient just said, you love who you love. Love is people usually say, oh, and I mean, to be honest, when I got into that relationship, both sides, my parents and her parents, they were both like, where's what are you guys doing? Where's this going? Like that. And my parents like, wait, you came all the way from Liberia, you come here to date a white girl and stuff like that. But is
Was it, let
it
me just
all
hold you there
depends
for a
on your
minute. Let me just hold you there for
yeah.
a minute. Was there any pressure from your parents or from her parents? They said, nah, you shouldn't do that?
In the beginning, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But
Okay.
we went on for 2 years, and then, like I said, when I went to college before it ended. But yeah, who you find that you loves you and cares for you. It doesn't matter the color of their skin or their ethnic background. Go ahead and love who you love.
Okay, Titus, what message do you want to leave our audience tonight? Well, for you, you were just a playboy with these Caucasian ladies. You didn't take them serious, and you stay in your
Some of
culture. What
some of
message?
the some of them much better men than me.
Okay.
So, um, but yeah, man, just for the black nation, right, the African nation,
Mm,
we must be intentional about, kids have to see black loving black, like the black man showing expression to the black woman. Um, and even if they grow out of that home and decide to, and with all of the examples and all of the expressions that they're seeing, if they decide to, go on the other side, it's not a crime. It's not a sin. If he's a boy, that's where he finds respect and honor that, the man used for her. If that is a woman, if that's where she's finding the affection, the love, and respect as well, then it is what it is. But we must be intentional, because I know there are benefits, right? There are benefits to promoting your culture, promoting your own,
yeah.
and at the same time not hating the other side or the other race, or because there's interracial relationships or marriages, you
Okay.
know.
Yeah, Miss B, you never went the other way, but right now you're trying to groom your daughter to go the other way because the black
No.
man, black man,
That's
black man, black
exactly
man,
what
black
you're
man,
doing.
black man. That's serious. Yeah, that's it.
That's
They
exactly
go.
what you're doing.
Yeah, you not just black man. Period. So, what message you want to leave our audience tonight?
First of all, my daughter is probably not likely because she has a very good relationship with her strong black father. You
Mm,
know, my husband, and he has set the bar so high. So regardless what man comes into her life, he has set the bar very high as far as the type of man that she's going to entertain
As I
when the
said,
time is
the only
right.
type of man she's going to entertain a white man, so we know that. Go ahead, because that buy is so high. So yeah,
Man, if y'all can't come correct with the dollars, then that's what she's gonna have to do. Y'all
mm,
can't come with that good credit and the dollars, then that's what's gonna happen. No, at the end of the day, I'm like, what's good for the goose should be good for the gander. For so many, generations or decades, black men have been dating outside the race. I think it's okay for our sisters to start dating outside the race. Do you ladies find love where you, like Patience said, find love where you can find love. Find good credit over there. Find you a submissive partner over there, somebody who you say sit on or will sit on. Do that, boo. Yeah, you don't want to be stressed. We all want a soft life. And so that's the message I have tonight, ladies. Go live
see
your
that?
soft life
You
in
see that?
Beverly Hills.
Sooner or later, the black men only got problems. Sooner or later, man, the educated ones gonna start running away to the other side because, as she said, they love the soft life. They're gonna start running away.
So, like,
I already, I can already predict a mass exodus.
oh,
Oh,
well,
black
here
women.
then that's also a challenge to the black men to do better. Step a game
Right.
up.
Okay. Well,
Step
anyway,
our
guys.
game up.
Yeah, anyways, guys, it's been a great show tonight. We have taken this for like an hour, 20 plus
Thanks to
minutes.
our guest,
Y-
Thomas.
Yeah,
We
and Thomas.
appreciate
So,
you.
Thomas, again,
Someone was
right?
amazing.
What is your closing message for us tonight and all those that have been listening to you? I mean, what message you want to leave with them tonight?
Man, thank you for having me. It was an
Mhm,
honor.
mhm.
I I did not choose to marry the white woman. I believe I prayed for God to give me the
Your good
love of
wife.
my life,
Yeah.
and the woman happened to be Caucasian, and I think is important to every uh, husband and wives, whatever you be, Caucasian and or mixed couple, is understand your role as a husband and understand your role as a wife. Work together, and God created this thing to work so beautifully, but it's yet so hard. It takes a lot of work, and I think if we can all come to that agreement and continue to learn and grow, I think we all can find love. But notice our love have to bring honor and glory to the one King.
Okay.
And
Praise
And
that's
with
what
God.
that, that's the end of our
There's
show
something
tonight. Thank you
about
all
us
for
See
joining us.
Boogie.
Thank
that's well known.
Thank you.
Appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Thank you,
All
Yes,
brother.
you
sir.
beautiful ladies,
And
thank
thank
you.
you.
You guys
Yeah,
have a good one.
yeah, thank
All
you.
right.
And thank you to our
Thank
panelists,
you, bro.
Bye.
for contributing to this great show tonight. So it's been fun. Today is Thursday, right? So as I said, we're gonna be there might be some show out of the blue on Sunday night, and there might be another one on Monday night, and there might be another one on Tuesday. So we'll be coming at you, pretty much all week. Okay, so but Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and
Yeah, yeah,
we'll be back
sure.
here hopefully on Sunday, and then maybe
People didn't go
Monday,
on
and
a
then maybe
restaurant,
Tuesday,
already.
and yeah, and things like that. So okay, good night,
Go
guys.
live your
See you
soft
everyone.
life.
All right.
And then life